Ahead, Goldman Sachs employees switch sides and high-tech pets a bit later in the show. Welcome to 3 Times Square this Tuesday from Reuters World Headquarters in New York. Goldman Sachs employees turning against President Obama. Our daily digit today, minus 864,000. The decline in employee giving to the Obama campaign this time around. That according to an analysis done by the Wall Street Journal. The donations topped 1 million in 2008, falling to just over 100,000 this year. Romney the beneficiary, along with a super PAC supporting him. Goldman had been the #1 source of campaign cash for Democrats for the 23 years tracked by the Center for Responsive Politics. Current and past executives telling the Journal they feel betrayed by the president, especially his reference to them as, quote, fat cat bankers. Goldman employees may be blaming Obama, but other groups have complaints about both sides. The National Federation of Independent Business saying uncertainty about the possibility of tax hikes and government spending cuts hurting optimism, while the IMF prodded policymakers to deal with their major short-term economic challenges. The group saying a failure to do so would prolong the global economic slump. The IMF also prodding European leaders to resolve their debt issues, this on a day when tensions are rising in Greece over its economic challenges. Let's go to Axel Threlfall in London. Axel, nothing stately about a state visit there.
No, not at all. But the Eagle has landed. Yeah, Merkel's in Athens. It's causing mayhem on the streets. 10,000 protesters apparently have defied a ban on protests and have taken to the streets. 6,000 cops have been deployed for Merkel's 6-hour visit. That gives you an indication of just how big the authorities think this can get. There are rooftop snipers around the main square and a number of German sites, the embassy, for example, under special protection. Merkel and her delegation are meeting with Samaras. That's her first visit, I might add, to Greece since the debt crisis kicked off 3 years ago. And her message is going to be one of support, but no money. And that, of course, Lisa, is part of the problem.
All right, let's talk about the IMF. Critical of the Eurozone. What do they have to say today?
Well, critical of the Eurozone, critical of the US as well. As you said, we got our knuckles rapped as well in much the same way as you guys did. You're being berated for the fiscal cliff. We're being berated for not getting firm enough on resolving this crisis over here. Neither of us apparently being proactive enough was the message. So resolving this crisis over here is going to require much more progress in, they said, adopting and implementing a number of measures, including banking and fiscal union. The IMF has now, by the way, forecast a contraction of 0.4% of the euro area this year and just very, very small growth of 0.2% next year. So it looks pretty bleak, I've got to say.
Knuckle rapping on both sides of the pond. All right. Thank you,
Absolutely.
Axel. Our power player of the day trying to reinvent another business. It's Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos. He's already transformed book buying and reading. Now he's trying to change the entertainment streaming field. Sources telling Reuters the company has modified its deal with cable network Epix to include a pay-per-performance provision. In addition to an upfront fee for the video-on-demand agreement, Amazon will pay Epix more if the number of subscribers to its Prime service crosses a certain threshold. The arrangement providing more evidence, Amazon plans to fight Netflix for dominance in the business. And finally, the elderly feeling bearish in Singapore. Residents of the Villa Francis Home for the Aged finding a friend in this robotic bear who reads human emotions the way any dog or cat might. The cozy robo-pet reacts to visual cues through a webcam in its forehead. It can even purr when caressed or squeal when startled. The affectionate android, created on a budget of about $1,600 US bucks, courtesy of a local scientist who hopes to soothe Singapore's aging population, many of whom spend their twilight years in hospitals and homes for the elderly. That's the latest from 3 Times Square this Tuesday. You can follow us on Twitter at Reuters Insider and check out our Reuters YouTube channel at Reuters.com/ReutersTV. I'm Lisa Bernhard. This is Reuters.